Good morning, dear students. Welcome to Social Science class. I am Taj Unnisa from Vishwamanava High School, Sibara Guttinadu, Chitradurga. Today we are going to discuss about the chapter number 2 in Economics, Human Resource of India. First of all, we are going to discuss about the filling the blanks with suitable words. First one, the working people who have knowledge, talent, and skills are called the dash of of that country. Here, human resource, they called the people who have knowledge, talent, and skills. They were called as a human resource, and they were the human resource of that country. And next one, in 2011, the sex ratio was dash. Here, in 2011, the sex ratio was 943. Third one, census takes place on once in dash years in the India, 10 years in India. Fourth one, the quality of population in a country depends on dash and dash. The quality of population in a country depends on literacy, skill attainments, and life expectancy. On the basis of this, the quality of population is dependent. Fifth one, the average number of children who dies below 1 year of age for every 1,000 live births is called dash. Here it is called as a child or infant mortality rate. Sixth one, in India, since the birth rate is high and the death rate is slow, the population growth rate is high. This is all about the filling the blanks with suitable words. Next one, answer the following questions or following in one sentence each. First one, who are the people identified as working people? The adult population who are educated and healthy and possess the capability to increase the national income are called working people. Here the adult who got the education or who get the education and then they were healthy, and also after getting education they possess some capability to face or to do some work, and these work or that income should be developed with the national income or income rate of the country. That is called as a these people called as a working people. Next one, what is meant by human resources? Here, human resources means educated and healthy working people who work to increase the nation's income are called human resources. Here, who are the educated and the healthy people in our country? That people will be work or they will be doing some work and they increasing the nation's income. These people or this work is called as a human resources. Third one, what was India's population according to 2011 census? According to 2011 census, Indian population was 121 point crores. 121.1 crores. This is the population of India in 2011 census. Next one, what do you mean by birth rate? Here, birth rate refers to the total number of live births per thousand of a population in a year. Here, birth rate means uh, the total number of live births, the total number of the birth rates, and according to the per thousand of a population in a year. This is the birth rate, total number of live births per thousand of a population in a year. It is called birth rate. Fifth one, in 2011, India's birth rate was 22 and death rate was 6. Then what is the population rate? Population growth rate. Here, population growth rate formula is birth rate minus death rate. So 2011 population growth rate is 22 minus death rate is 6. Then total population growth rate is 16. This is how we calculate our population growth rate by applying the formula birth rate minus death rate. Sixth one, what was the population density of India according to 2011 census? Here, according to 2011 census, the population density of India is 382. The population density of India is 382. Next one, third main, answer the following questions. First one, what is population density? How is the population density of a country calculated? Here, the population of density of population is the number of people living per square kilometer of geographical area. Here, under the one geographical area, how the people or how much people were living. Through this calculation, we deciding or we this process is called as a density of population, the number of people living in a per square kilometer area. This is the geographical area, per square kilometer of a geographical area. This is called as the density of population. Next one, how can we calculate the density of population is, population density of a country is calculated by dividing the total population of a country by the total land area. We calculating the density of population through by dividing the dividing by the total population of the country, and by dividing the total land area of a country, by dividing the total land area and by total population to total land area. Through this process we can identify the density of population. Next one, human resources are considered very vital among the factors of production. Why? Here the human resources considering a very vital. Vital means very important factor in the production, because first one, human resource occupies greater importance in the production of goods and services than natural resources and material resources. Here human resources means human beings. They occupying the greater importance or greater role in the production of goods. They having the very important role in the production of goods and the services. They providing some services to the natural resources and the material resources. They providing some services, and also they created the goods, or they created the production of goods through the natural process or the natural resources and the material resources. Second one, human resources provides the skills and workforce needed for production. Here human beings or the human resources were providing the, or they created their own skills, and they providing the some workforce to the production. They providing some workforce to the production of a goods. Next one, the people who work in various jobs in the fields of agriculture, industry and service sectors are referred as the workforce. Here the people who are working in the different fields, they are doing some jobs in the different fields such as agriculture, industry or some service sectors. Service sectors means the doctors, lawyers and the other jobs who they were serving their society. Through this process they are doing some job, that is called as a workforce. They through this, how the human being or the human resources very considered as a, or they played a important role in the production, in the factors of production. Next one, what is the role of health and education in developing human resources? Here what is the role of health and the education? First one, health. Good health improves not only the quality of life of people but also the quality of their work. Here, if the human being having the good health, then it usually or it automatically develops the quality of life, and also it develops the quality of their work also. Second one, therefore, if rapid economical development has to be achieved, the health of people should be improved. If the human being having the good health, then it should be improved the, or it should be developed the economic or the economical status of the human being, and also through this economical development the health and the economical status of the nation also developed. Next one, education. If good education, training and are provided to human resources, they can be transferred into human capital. Here the government or the people who are getting the good education, then and also the training, then they created or they provided some natural or human resources to the society. Through this transformation, they created the human capital. Capital means economy. They created some economical status in the society. And next one, education can transfer knowledge and skills from one generation to the next. Here, education, if they're providing or they're getting good education, then the knowledge of the education will be transferred from one generation to the next generation. Third one, through the education, anyone can gain knowledge of doctor, engineer, and scientist. Here, by getting education, anyone and any person will be achieve his goal, and also they will be became a good doctor or engineer or something else, and also the scientist in the society. This is how the health and education is developing the human resources in the society or in our India. Next, fourth one, why the population growth is high in the developing countries. Here, how the population and why the population growth is very high in each and every developing countries. First one, in the developing countries, the government provides better education and health facilities, and epidemics are brought under control. Due to this, the death rate will decline steeply. Here, the developing countries were providing the governments will providing the good health and good health facilities, and also the good better education facilities, and also they controlling the epidemics by applying or by saving the people. Through these activities, the death rate will be decline means the death rate will be controlled by the government. This is the reason population growth is high in the developing countries. Next one, on the other hand, the birth rate continues to remain high or decline very slowly. Here, after the after the birth of a child or birth of a child, the birth rate will be continuous, and it should be remain high. Each and every year the birth rate is high, but the death rate or the declining the death rate. So there is a instability or the imbalance between the birth rate and death rate. Third one, because of a very high birth rate and steeply falling death rates, the population growth tends to be higher. Here, there is a inequality between the birth rate and the death rate. So, each and every year the population grow. 10 means population grow very high and high, or the more and more. So the it is a causes of the instability between the birth rate and the death rate, so it creating the high or very much population growth in the developing countries. This is all about the how the population growth is increasing day by day in the developing countries. This is all about the lesson human resources. Next chapter in business studies, chapter number first, management of business. Here, first of all, we are going to discuss about the answer in a sentence. First one, what is management? Here, generally, management is the principle of managing the activities of an enterprise. Here, what are the activities of a management? What are the activities of a business that should be going through according to their principles, according to their goals, which is already created, according to their activities, which activities they will be conducted in the business. According to that activities, they should frame some principles. This is how they controlling their management, or they controlling their enterprise means business. How they controlling through this principle, they controlling the business. This management process or this controlling process is called as a management. Management means generally management is the principles. What are the principles of managing the activities of an enterprise is called as management. Next one, what is the principle of authority and responsibility in principles of management? Here, what is the principles of the authority and responsibility in principle of management? Here, these principles refers to the authority responsibility, which are the combination of official authority and personal responsibility. Both are compounded with intelligence, experience, past experience, moral worth, etc. Here, both the authority and responsibility having by each and every persons in their own management or in their own business in that business or in that enterprises, they should be having some authority. They should having some official authority, and they also having some personal responsibility to look out all the business and to develop their business according to their own intelligence and their own experience, and the present experience and also the past experience, and according to their moral worth or moral values. According to this, the authority and the responsibility of a person's holding in the management. Next main, answer the following questions. First one, what are the principle of management suggested by Henry Fayol? Here, Henry Fayol suggested some principle according to the management. First one, division of work. Here, division of work means the work will be divided according to the people's qualification and their capability and their needs. Second one, authority and responsibility. The authority and responsibility also distributed to the people. Third one, discipline. Each and every management or each and every business should having some discipline. Fourth one, unity of command. Here, unity of command means, and each and every persons who is doing their work or who are working under the management or business, that man should having some command, and each and every group of people having the one command, having the one decisions. Fifth one, unity of direction. The head of the management or the head of the business, he should be directed to the each and every persons of the management. Next one, subordinations of individual interest to the general interest. Seventh one, remuneration of personnel. Eighth one, centralization. Ninth one, scalar chain. 10th one, equity. 11th one, stability to security to personnel. Stability of security to personnel. 12th one, initiatives. 13th one is e-spirit, D crops. These are all the stages which are principles which is suggested by the Henry Fayol. Next one, what are the functional areas of management? Here, what are the functional areas of management? How the management will be work? First one, the managerial functions may be classified into different areas. First one, planning. Second one, organizing. Third one, staffing. Fourth one, directing. Fifth one, coordinating. And sixth one, controlling. Here, if we are going to managing something, at that time we should be plan. We should before going to do that, we should having some plan, proper plan. And next one, according to that plan, we should be organizing some events or organizing some things which are going to be good to our business or to our management. Third one, staffing. According to the work, according to the division of work, the work should be divided to the people. To that work will be going to do some persons or some people. According to that, they should be appoint some people or appoint some workers. That is called as staffing. And next one, directing. Each and every person should be getting some guidelines or getting some suggestions from the director or the person who is going to direct the other peoples. Fifth one, coordinating. Here, each and every persons of team member, he should having some coordination between the each other. Sixth one, controlling. The whole team will be controlling by the head of the business or head of the management. This is the functional areas where the and how the functional areas will be work in management. Next one, third one, write about the authority and responsibility, scalar chain and centralization in principle of management. Here, authority and responsibility means this principle refers to the authority and responsibility which are the combination of official authority and personal responsibility. Both are compounded with the intelligence, experience, past experience, moral worth, etc. Here it is already over. Here, how the authority and responsibility is holding by the person according to their own intelligence, according to their own experience, both the past and present experience, and also according to their own moral or own moral values. Next one, scalar chain. This principle means that every enterprise should have graded authority or superior subordinate relationship. The range of authority and responsibility of superiors in relation to the subordinates at various levels should be clearly defined. Here, scalar chain means the division of work or the division of authority will be distributed each and every persons. The authority or the authority holding by that person, he should be controlling over the each and every persons, and also the subordinate, the superior and the subordinate relationship is very good, and means they having some good and healthy relationship between the superior and the subordinate peoples, and also they arrange the authority and responsibility of superiors in relation to the subordinates at various levels should be clearly defined. Here, between the superiors and the subordinates, each and every work and each and every responsibility and authority should be clearly defined, or clearly tell, or the clearly defined by the people who are going to work or who are going to will be manage the management. This is how the authority and responsibility will be clearly defined, and how the scalar chain means each and every work will be distributed according to their qualification and responsibility. Next one, fourth one, what do you mean by planning and organizing in functional areas of management? Here, planning, how the planning and organization will be work in the management. Here, first one, planning, it involves the future course of operation of a given period. The process of planning includes determination of organizational objectives and formulation of plans, policies, strategies, programs, procedures, and schedules. Here, planning, it involves means it having some future goals or the future operational goals, or they created if we are going to start some management or something business. At that time we should be frame some goals, or we should be frame some future expectation what can we going to do, and then that according to that planning we should organizing our objectives, and then we are going to after the planning the or frame the objectives, then we are going to formulate or we are going to execute that plans, and then according to that plans we are going to create some policies and strategies to success that plan, and also we are arranging some programs that should be explore our business, and also the procedures, what are the procedures and the schedules when we are going to produce, or when we are going to explore that plans and policies. According to that, the planning will be conducted or planning will be made. This is the how planning is played a very important role or the functions in the management. And next one, organizing. Here, organizing, it is the process of bringing together the manpower and the material resources. Here, both the man and material is by using both of them, the organization will be going on. Some of the material resources are machines and the materials. Here, material resources means machines, and what are the machines and technology we are going to use in our management or in our business, that will be clearly defined. And next one, putting the material resources and manpower together into working order to achieve the objectives in the main purpose of organizing area of managerial functions. Here we are going to acquire, or we are going to achieve something in our managerial functions or in our management. At that time we should be use our manpower means a human being, the power of human being, and also the material resources, what are the material will be available according to their work, according to our work, that should be well planned and well organized. And next one, it also involves delegate authority to the managers and establish of linking together the various positions to the purpose of enabling the people to work in a coordinated manner. Here we are going to involve the sufficient peoples or the sufficient authority persons that will be created, and the managers will be created and establish some linking, and means they created some healthy environment between the workers, and they should develop the coordination feeling among the peoples or among the persons who are working or doing their work in the management. This is how the planning and organizing is very important in the functional areas of management. Next one, fifth one. How is control fifth questions. How is controlling an important area of managerial functions? Here, how the controlling is played an important area, and means it how we controlling how we control or controlling played a important role in the managerial functions. First one, the answer is it is an important area of the managerial functions. Here, controlling it is a important area in the managerial functions. It covers almost all the management activities. Here, controlling is the main area or main objectives which controlling the each and every activities of a management. Next one, it keeps check on other functions of management. Here, controlling it keep and it means it should be clearly controlling, clearly keeps each and every eye on the persons or the work we should be going to do or we should be conducted already. Each and every functions on that the controlling will be going on. Next one, it is a functions that every manager in the organization has to perform. Here the manager who is the head of the management, he should be having some controlling power. He will be the manager. He will be manager and he is going to organizing and he will going to perform each and every responsibility in the management. This is the how controlling is played an important role in the management or managerial functions. Sixth one, what are the main objectives of controlling areas? Here, controlling areas I'm having some objectives that are the main objectives of controlling area are first one, to create an atmosphere of order and discipline in the organization to ensure proper coordination of activities. Here, controlling area will creating the atmosphere or environment according to their discipline, according to their order into the organization of ensure proper coordination of activities. Here the controlling persons or control the head of the manager will be creating the good atmosphere. According to that atmosphere, he created the good healthy coordination relationship or the coordination feeling among the persons and also the disciplines among the persons who is going to do the work or they are going to do the proper coordination activities in each and every. Second one, to ensure confirmation of actual performance with the determined plans. Here they confirm means they already confirm some actual performance, means what they are going to do. According to that performance they will be already well planned and then they are going to execute their plans. Next one, to achieve the increase of overall efficiency of the organization. Here the main objectives of controlling is to achieve the what are their objectives they will be framed in the beginning. That objectives will be achieved overall efficient development of a organization or a efficient development of the business. This is the main objectives of the controlling areas. Next one, seventh one, directing and coordinating are very important functions in business management. How? Here, how the directing and the coordination will be played a very important role in the management. Let's see. First one, directing. It is the area of functional management where instructing, guiding, supervising, and leading the people of an organization towards accomplishment of an organizational goal. Here, directing it plays an important area or important role where he will be going to execute or instruct the people and guiding the people or supervising the people and also the leading. They will be leading the people according to their accomplishment of organizational goals. Means what are the organizational goals they will be created in the beginning of the business or in the beginning of the management. That goals will be going to achieve according to their instruction, guiding, and also their supervising by the people or to the people. Through this they will be achieve their goals. And next one, it is issuing orders or instructions to the subordinates and make certain that the instructions are properly carried out and the operations are successfully planned. Here they are going to directing and their director or the directors, they will be going to give some orders, and they will be going some give some instructions to the subordinators, or the instruction to the subordinators workers to do their work will in a proper manner, and they should be carried their each and every responsibility according to their plan and according to their successful of the goals and their successful of the objectives, and then how the direction or the director will be give direction to the each and every person who is working in the organization. Next one, coordination. Here, coordination is the harmonious blending of the activities of the different departments for the achievement of a desired goals. It is the arrangement of group efforts to provide unity of actions in the pursuit of common purpose. Here, coordination it plays a very important role to creating the healthy environment, and also to blending each and every activities in a different departments, and also to by creating and by flexibility in their work, they will be achieve their desires goals, they will be achieve their plans which is they already planned, that will be achieved through the coordination. And then they will be arrange some group efforts, and means they will be by group activities, they will be going to achieve their actions, and they by the unity in their work, they will be achieve, and they will be pursued, or they will be going to success in their own work, and success in their own goals and in their own business. How the this is how the directing and the direction will be going, the people will get, and they will be do their 100% in their business or in their jobs. And next one, through the coordination or the through the teamwork or the group work, they will be achieve their good, or they will be achieve their each and every goals which is they already framed in the beginning of the business or in the beginning of the management. How this is how the directing and coordination is played a very important role in the business management. This is all about the chapter management and business, management of business. Thank you each and everyone.